You know, I can't wait to play with my Switch too. I'm so excited, I can't believe I got one. Oh my gosh. Ganondorf? What? You're not getting away with this that easily.
Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Wake up, Link.
Hello and welcome back to the PowerFull show. YouTube's... Wait. Shut up, Apple Watch. Where am I? Wait, what am I? I'm the... How do I get out of here? Ooh, an iPad. Now how do I get out of here? Ooh, pretty. Why's there text in the corner? And is that Santa Claus? Hi Santa, have I been good this year? Jeez, there's no need for the names. A simple no would have been good. What we do, Piggy? Goodbye, friend. No, not friendly. Die. Phew, I got away. Can you hold this real quick? Sorry, Good. What the Finally at the bottom. Oh, hi Santa. So you'll give me that paraglider if I get you 4 spirit orbs from the shrines? Okay. Moral and ethical dilemmas from looting a place of worship aside, this should be easy. I was wrong. I don't know what just happened. Yes, Santa. 3 more shrines. Ugh. Let's get on to it. Okay, so my iPad says it's this way. The power of a remote bomb in the palm of my hand. Stasis, you're under arrest. This cold can't stop me, but maybe he can. Finally, this mountain was the hardest to climb, and if I look at my iPad, then I can see I still have 2 ability slots left, so this is going to be the coolest and most useful item yet. It makes ice pillars. Well, that was a letdown. Oh, hi Santa. That paraglider will be really helpful getting off this mountain. What do you mean, come find you? We had a deal. Where'd he go? You've got to be around here somewhere, old man. I'll get you! Okay, now give me the paraglider.
The Great Calamity was merciless. It devastated everything in its path. Lo, a century ago, it was then that
Your Switch 2
was taken away from
you.
And since that time, here I have remained in spirit form. I think you are now ready. Ready to hear what happened 100 years ago. To know Calamity Ganon's true form, one must know the story from an age long past. The Demon King was born into this kingdom, but his transformation into malice created the horror you see now. Stories of Ganon were passed from generation to generation in the form of legends and fairy tales. But there was also a prophecy. The princess, her appointed knight, and the rest of the champions were on the brink of sealing away Ganon. But nay. Ganon was cunning, and he responded with a plan beyond our imagining. He appeared from deep below Hyrule Castle, seized control of the Guardians and the Divine Beasts, and turned them against us. The champions lost their lives, those residing in the castle as well. The appointed knight bravely won and collapsed while defending the princess. And thus, the kingdom of Hyrule was devastated absolutely by Calamity Ganon. However, the princess survived to face Ganon alone.
Link, you are our final hope. The fate of Hyrule rests with you.
princess was my own daughter, my dear Zelda. You fought valiantly when your fate took an unfortunate turn. And then, you were taken to the Shrine of Resurrection. Here you now stand, revitalized 100 years later. Considering that I could not save my own kingdom, I have no right to ask this of you, Link. But I am powerless here. You must save her, my daughter, and do whatever it takes to annihilate Ganon.
I remember it all. I am the only channel on YouTube destined to defeat Ganondorf and save my Switch 2. Today, I'm saving Hyrule, and most importantly, my Switch 2.
You must save her, my daughter.
Oh yeah, and her too, I guess. Today, I'm playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, if you didn't already tell. And this is my first Zelda game. The Legend of Zelda is a series of games that follows the destined hero named Link on his quest to save the Princess Zelda who's been kidnapped or taken by Ganon. I started playing this game for last month's video, where I said goodbye to the Nintendo Switch. And that was back in May. It's July. If you haven't already seen that video, I highly recommend watching it after this one, because I absolutely cooked. But before you can go, I need to get my Switch 2 back. The only way I know how. Through a complicated series of events that will somewhat improve my chances of actually beating him. So, let's get right into it. Old mate Rowan told me to go beat Ganon, something I was already planning on doing. And he also told me to go visit his friend named Impa, as going straight to Ganon would be almost certain death. So, I took his advice and headed to Impa, and began my preparations to beat Ganon with Phase 1. On my way to meet Impa, I saved some Hylians, re-killed the undead, cooked some food, and found another shrine. These shrines are littered all over Hyrule, and do the exact same things as the ones on the Great Plateau, or tutorial area that I was in before. The only exception being that they don't give you a new ability each time, as there's more than 120, and I don't think that would be even possible. And they only give you a Spirit Orb. Going and praying at any goddess statue will allow you to trade 4 Spirit Orbs for either a stamina vessel or a heart container, each improving your max hearts or max stamina respectively. All these shrines help you master a different one of the game's mechanics and central abilities that I got in the Great Plateau. Across from the shrine I found a stable, and these are basically the kingdom's economic and trading hubs, and also deal with horses sometimes. The reason I say these stables or trading hubs is because this is where you find Beetle, and he'll buy literally anything I give him, despite its either importance to the story or lack of significance, and I literally found it on the ground. This man can be found in literally every stable, alongside a few other groups of people who aren't really that important, often giving you different quests. These are stables, of course, and they do deal with horse stuff. Once you register a horse in a stable, you can either board it or withdraw it to your heart's content. If you've already withdrawn it and it's on the other side of the map, don't worry, this is also basically horse fast travel. They can get horses from anywhere. They can even get the horses you left in the middle of Hyrule Field surrounded by guardians. What do you mean that's oddly specific? I didn't do that. Due to the point on my map, I knew where Impa was, I just didn't know how to get to her, because she was surrounded by a mountain range, and I just didn't know how to get in. There was a chasm, I just missed it several times. Due to my inability to find her, I did what I do a lot in this game, and what most people do, and I got distracted! So I found another shrine, ran from my first Lizalfos, met up with some Koroks, visited some ruins, and saw another shrine. This one I unfortunately couldn't get into. Also, this Zora outside the shrine I found told me to go visit Prince Sidon as he was looking for a Hylian. Instead of following my destiny and meeting up with Prince Aura, I instead decided to stick to what I was planning on doing, and unfortunately meeting the sad old lady, who just told me the same story I'd heard like 1,000 times. By 1,000 I mean twice. Though she did go into more detail about these things called divine beasts, which I already did know slightly about but weren't really familiar with. These had 4 pilots. Each race had their own respect champion, except the Hylians. They kinda just had Link. They don't even get a divine beast, they're just some guy. Like, I get he can use a sword, and it's like, that's cool and all, it's just some guy. She told me to go free the divine beasts. Like, sure, another detour, but it's not all that bad. As she also told me that my iPad, I mean Sheikah Slate, which is what it's actually called, was still broken. And you're probably asking, Rorey, why is that a good thing? Well, because I had one last ability, and I cannot wait to see what it is. The other ones, except Cryonis, are all really cool, so I was really excited to see what that last one was. She told me to go visit her friend in Hateno village called Pura, who is some ancient science lady, I don't know. So I hightailed it over there, getting distracted on my way. Outside the Dueling Peak stable is where I met my first horse, and the only one I ever used. We didn't talk about the second one. And with my pure horse riding skill, I managed to tame it. What did I call my horse? I called it Ganondorf, because I needed to show Ganon who was boss by riding him around all over the place. Actually, turns out where I'm going is kinda mountainous, so I kinda just left him. With that, I finally didn't get distracted and made my way all the way to Hateno village. Though through a series of quite unfortunate events, I ended up on 1 heart, so killing all the creases, skeletons, and bokoblins in my way. I made it to Hateno village, which was actually pretty chill, I guess. And that's where I met Pura, who was a child. She was a failed experiment, I don't know, kind of not that important. Pura helped fix my pad, which allowed me to do a bunch of cool things, such as take photos. Yeah, that's what the last ability was. I got to take photos. I guess it's not that bad. She also told me to take a photo of her, and I don't know what the problem was with this. I'm sorry. This is a great photo. I let her upgrade one of the 3 abilities I could to its max potential, and that was pretty useful. I haven't used it once. The fixed Sheikah Slate also revealed the library of photos that were already on the device. I was told to go back to Impa and get them checked out. So let's go into phase 2 as we search for the lore. As this is my first Zelda game, when I first started, I really wanted to know the lore. I don't really care that much about the timeline, I know that's convoluted, but I wanted to at least see what this game's story was, and to do that I need to unlock memories. With my goal to learn all the lore, I decided to go back to Impa, and I didn't really have a fast way of getting to her, so I decided to climb this tower so that I could glide down, and at this moment is when I realized that I'm an idiot. By climbing towers, you unlock sections of the map. And first of all, how did I not realize this? And better yet, how did I forget this from the tutorial? Somehow I was like, let me pull up the map. This is what a map should look like. Nevertheless, I continued back to Impa, and thankfully I'm not an idiot, and thought, there's gotta be a better way. But unfortunately I am an idiot, and that one question spiraled into a plethora of bad decisions. I went back to where I started somehow with the Lizalfos and the Korok. I killed a wizard, and then I found that same Zora, who I decided to graciously help after I failed to get into that one shrine I couldn't get into like 50 more times. The game overs were crazy. I decided to go help the Zora. So I went to find Sidon, which actually set off a quest to save the Zora. Wait a second. Pull it back up the title screen? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's better. What's this one? It's nice. Phase 2 is not really finding the lore anymore. I guess maybe free the divine beasts. Yeah, put that up. Then part 1, save the Zora. Please put music behind this. This would be really awkward if it didn't have any music. As Impa told us earlier, there are 4 divine beasts, each with a champion? As Impa told us earlier, there are 4 divine beasts, each with a respective region of Hyrule. Unfortunately, when Ganon took over, he killed them all and took control of the divine beasts. Unfortunately, once again, these divine beasts didn't leave and go do other things. No, they're still in their regions, terrorizing the people in their own quirky way. The big elephant known as Varuda is constantly making it rain, which I guess is good for farmers, but I don't really know what Zora eat. Though speaking of Zora, the Zora are a race of fish people, as you can see, who have really long lifespans. So most of them either remember Link, or have a grudge against all Hylians after the death of their champion Mipha. Mipha is the Zora champion and the pilot of Varuda. She was good friends with Link, and was crushing on him hard, but unfortunately Link is an emotionless brick and didn't get the memo. Mipha's brother Prince Sidon is a well-known aura farmer, so maybe the rain was good for someone after all. I'll show myself out. Sidon is looking for a Hylian to help him stop Varuda. Thankfully, I'm broke and ready to enter the workforce, so I bumbled my way up to Zora's domain with Sidon's supportive words. We headed straight for the throne room, where I met Mipha and Sidon's dad, King Dorothin, who instantly recognized me. yeah, that's right. I'm kind of a celebrity. The king knows me. No pro. I'll sign that. Yes. Oh, no paparazzi. After I told him I wanted to free Varuda, he gave me the Zora armor, aka his dead daughter's marriage proposal, and it also allowed me some waterfalls. This armor has a great cultural significance, as countless generations of Zora princesses would make this and give it to who they want to marry. Dorfin's advisor is upset by me just getting the Zora armor, and decides to mope down by Mifa's statue because he used to teach her. Though the cultural significance didn't stop me from putting it on the minute I was given it. It's not like that's gonna stop me, just ask the countless shrines I've desecrated just for an extra heart. I was trying to tell him that me and Mifa were chill, but Mizu just wasn't buying it, so... When I looked at Mifa's statue for like a second, I had a flashback, and that revealed Mifa's true feelings about Link. Once Mizu saw that the shirt fit me perfectly, he begrudgingly told me where to find some shock arrows, because I needed them to calm the divine beasts. And this moment is where I wasted a lot of time. So, let's go to... Hello and welcome back to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. We're on the final round. This is the one last question, Rorey. You need to answer this correctly, and you win 10,000 rupees. You got it? Yep? Okay. The question is, read this line, and what does it mean? A. That you should kill the Lionel and take the arrows from its rotting corpse. B. You should go find shock arrows from around the arena, as he probably shoots them at trees sometimes. C. You should subscribe to the PowerFull show. D. I'm gonna jump off a bridge. So, which do you think it is? You selected A. Good choice. Though, unfortunately, A was not the correct answer. We were looking for B. Though C would have got you extra points and we would have given 10,000 extra dollars, but most people who choose A do end up going with D right after they do C. But the correct answer we were looking for was B. Yeah. How are you supposed to get that? For most people, choosing A wouldn't actually be that bad, as you should probably be able to kill him by this point in the game or else they wouldn't really put him there. Though, I'm not most people and spent 30 minutes dying to him without even, scratching a part of his health. Though, one reset as I was running for my lives, I picked up, 5 shock arrows and I was like, oh. This led to an epiphany, and then I realized that I can just sneak around the arena and collect the arrows, also known as answer B. Once I got all my arrows, I glided down to Sidon, perfectly landing on the dock first try. Sidon asked me if I was ready, and we set off to go face the Divine Beast. I was told I needed 20 shock arrows. Turns out I only needed 4. So finally I got on Varuda and began my first Divine Beast. This is very repetitive for every single beast. So I'm going to explain Varuda and you'll basically get the gist for all of them. Each Divine Beast is fitted with 5 different puzzles that will each get you a different terminal which you can unlock and access. You can't access any of these terminals until you get the map, which is the first puzzle in which you have to complete. Some of these puzzles require you to do them in a linear structure, but most of them do not. While you're collecting all the terminals, you're being cheered on by the spirit of the former champion of that Divine Beast. Once you get all the terminals, you're instructed to go to the main terminal, where you end up fighting a Blight. These boss fights are really easy. Once you beat them, you get a heart container. Each champion has their own unique ability. For Mifa, it was Mifa's Grace, which once you die, it will give you all your hearts back plus extra, and allow you to keep on living. Once the Divine Beast is saved, it goes to its post and shoots at the castle. And I am sent back to Zora's domain, or the location in which I started. I speak to King Dorothin. As a reward, I got Mifa's light scale trident, which is cool, I guess. I kind of wanted money. I was told I'd be rewarded for this. I'm still broke. Okay, well, guess I need to get a real job. With the Zora saved, it's a happy ending for everyone. Well, actually, except for Sidon. He got sued by the Costco guys. Order in the court. How does the defendant plead? I'm sorry, Sidon, but the jury have made their verdict.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! 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 Boom!
Finally getting back on track as I head to Impa, who tells me that visiting the places depicted in my album of photos might actually help me regain my memories. So, as this is my first Zelda game, I already said I want to get all of them, so I headed off to go do that. By the way, just overlooking the town I found a shrine, and I can fast travel to this. I've spent all my time getting lost and distracted on my way back to Impa, when I could have just fast traveled. I also set out to try find the tower that maps out this region, because I don't want to keep looking at the blue swirl. How did I look at this for so long? I found a tower that maps out Zora's domain, and just narrowly misses Kakariko Village. How lovely. Just adjacent to the tower, I found a minor test of strength shrine, which I game over to more times than I'm willing to admit. In my defense, I was playing with a slight delay, as I was airplaying my Mac to my TV. Long story short, I'm not getting a career in IT. I fast traveled to a nearby stable where I withdrew Ganondorf, and we rode into the sunset. I re-encountered the same Yiga member as before, though this time I beat him, despite playing on 5 frames per second. I also met up with Hestu for the first time and got him his maracas back, but this is just hard to watch. Like, yay, more inventory? Oh gosh. I returned to Kakariko Village where I met up with a painter who asked for me to find a great fairy fountain for him, so the stupid fairy took some of my rupees, and it's like, wow, kick a man while he's financially down, I guess. When meeting up with the painter again, I showed him a photo from my album, and he directed me to a place where I could find it. So I trekked from Kakariko Village to find it. I got to watch my first ever memory, and from an instant I knew exactly who I was saving next. And I still have a few more memories to find, so I headed back to Impa and she gave me the shirt from the box art. Oh my gosh! Whoa! It's the box art and the title screen and the poster I was also given with my game. Unfortunately, the footage of me actually receiving the shirt was lost because of the broken recording for some reason, but at least you can see me wearing it. Yeah, that's cool. I had to leave Ganondorf in Impa's care so I could go hunt for more towers and uncover more of the map, though this is when I saw it. The scariest thing I've seen in a long time. I haven't slept in days. This thing's haunting my dreams. It was the first fully undamaged Guardian I've ever seen. I hope I never see one of these again. If I do, I'm probably just gonna run. I hope I don't end up with a situation where it's just me and Ganondorf as 7 Guardians are chasing us down. The tower I was intending to climb was guarded by 2 legless Guardians. As I tried to climb the tower, the Guardians were firing me from all sides. Pew, pew, pew. It's like, wah, pew, 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 pew. I'm just gonna... And this is when I learned my great strategy that will surely always work. This strategy is perfect. Hide behind cover, shoot them in the eye, and stab them a bunch. When they get ready to shoot, hide behind cover, wait for them to shoot them in the eye, stab them a bunch. This works every time. There's never gonna be a better way. Unfortunately, this one also narrowly missed Kakariko Village, though I found one nearby that also mapped it. Another painter in a nearby stable told me that there was a memory I could go to right in front of Hyrule Castle, so stealthily I headed right there, and I was spotted by another complete Guardian. I was horrified, so I tried to run by her. The noise. Just play it. Shivers down my spine. I saw it running at me, and I just hid out. It lost interest when I hid behind the bridge. But that was supposed to be scarier. At this point, I've seen 4 different memories, including the Mifa one, and I haven't said a single thing about them. This is because towards the end, I'm going to have a section just going through all of them. I continued on to Death Mountain, where I was set on fire for merely being near the place, though it does make sense it's an active volcano. I thought I'd be able to find something to cool me down in the Winter Wonderland adjacent to Hateno Village, so I cooked up what I found into some heat-resistant and health-restoring food, and set back off. Unfortunately, this wasn't enough, so I sought refuge in a nearby tower adjacent to a stable. At this stable, I met a Rito named Cass, who sung about the hero of Hyrule, though it's the same story and cutscene I've already heard like 10 times. It has no voiceover, only text, but a cool accordion backing track, so how can you hate it? I hate it. Another lady here sold me some fire res potions, so I could prepare to go to the Nether. I'm in Goron City. What's the big difference? At this point, I realized ores sell for a lot of money, so Beetle ended up getting me all the way back up to $300. Good boy. With my fire res potions, I glided right into the southern mine, where I met a guy who would give me some fireproof armor in return for 10 fireproof lizards. Unfortunately, I failed to get the lizards miserably. Like, I really failed. As much as Rudina tried to stop me, I beelined it straight for Goron City, where I went absolutely broke for just 1 piece of the fireproof armor. I spoke to the same painter from Kakariko Village, and he helped me find a new photo location, so I pinpointed it on my map. The location was wrong. I don't know if I listened to him or something, I just put the wrong map location. I headed forward and met up with the city's boss, who was looking for a Goron youth named Yunopo, who was helping him find some painkillers for his I decided to do some charity work and go help the kids. How kind of me.
Mr. PowerFull Shaw, when will you be feeding us?
Never! Who said you could leave the basement? Kids, am I right? I followed Yunobo back to the boss, and had another memory about Champion Daruk. After this, I decided to go look for the other one that I spoke to the painter about, though I just couldn't find it for the life of me, so I did something shocking. I googled it. Jeez, you have a bigger problem with me googling something than the joke about the orphan? Though, speaking of memories, I think it's time we actually take a step back from Phase 3, and go finish Phase 2. Bye. Technically, everything with Yunobo should have been in this section, but I used the Daruk memory as the equivalent of a tax write-off. While we're on the topic, easy way to save money, just don't pay your taxes. What do you mean this last 5 minutes isn't even good for my non-suability? That doesn't even sound like a legal term. Are you even a lawyer? Despite the painkillers, the boss was still unable to go calm Rudina, so he told me to go tell Yunobo the bad news. Unfortunately, Yunobo's kind of an idiot. The minute we parted ways, he got captured by moblins. How? Well, they didn't really capture him. He's kind of just protecting himself while the moblins laugh at him. Kind of sad. I will admit I did struggle with this. I died a few times, mostly because of my own idiocy. Though I did eventually realize that if I just stand on top of a cliff and shoot at the moblins, they have nothing to do and they can't really stop me. Fun fact, that actually works with most of your enemies. I recommend trying in real life. As Yunobo was a descendant of Champion Daruk, he can go into impenetrable ball mode, like Daruk could. I decided that with Yunobo's ability and my skill, we could do this alone, and set out without the boss. I decided to use Yunobo's ability to my advantage by shooting him out of cannons at Rudina, and it sounds kind of harsh, but he's fine. Probably. Once we hit Rudina enough, they fell into the volcano passed out, and that gave us time to board it. Yunobo was too scared and weak and didn't want to join me, so I had to do it alone. Upon landing in the base, I heard Daruk's voice and began completing the shrine like usual. But this one is slightly different, as it starts in complete darkness. The lights turn back on the minute you actually get the map, which is the first thing, and it's not really that hard to do. Due to the beast being an active volcano, I couldn't actually go outside of the walk on its exterior without fire res, which I had ran out of to actually get to Rudina. I tried so long to find a way out of that shrine. I asked Google, how do I leave? And it said, open the map and there's a button. I said, no, you're wrong, and proceeded to spend another hour killing myself in a variety of different ways. Finally, I saw the button, felt like an idiot, got some fire res, came back, and then beat the shrine. With that, I returned back to Goron City to tell them the day was saved. Though before leaving, the boss told me that the Hylian champion used to have a sword, and that it could be found in a forest, and this was the second person who told me this, and I was sick of hearing it, so... Dude, this sword is sick! Yeah, I just don't know what to call it. I don't know what I would call it, but this sure is the master of all swords. Wait, say that again. Finally, I had a goal. No more aimlessly wandering into memories and maps. Now, I knew what I was after. The Master Sword. The blade of evil's bane. The sword that seals the darkness. One really sharp glow stick. Blessed by the goddess Hylia, the Master Sword is the strongest in all the lands. In this game, the sword has 30 power, though the generational beef with Ganon doubles it when nearby Malice or any Malice-controlled objects. Getting the Master Sword is not going to be easy, so I need to be prepared. So, I have 3 steps. Step 1. As we all know, this sword is sassy and needs to have a worthy wielder. That doesn't actually really make that much sense, but I wrote it in the script and it kinda rhymes. The Master Sword tests your worth by draining you of exactly 9 3/4 hearts. As a recap, to get an additional heart, we need to trade them for 4 Spirit Orbs. Right now I have 7 hearts, and that means I need 3 more to pull the sword, so it's grinding time, as I need to find and beat 12 shrines. So after roughly 5 hours and 25 minutes of my life I'll never get back, I got all 12 Spirit Orbs, and got my 3 hearts, making me have 10. Though I didn't spend the entire 5 hours just on the shrines, I did a few other things, like supported the economy by purchasing a full set of knight's armor as well as a cold-proof shirt that sucks at being cold-proof. Viewed 2 memories, found 4 Korok seeds, climbed 1 tower, left 1 horse in the middle of Hyrule Field surrounded by guardians, and went on 1 hour-long side quest to save a guardian from malice corruption, only to get 1 single shrine, which was incredibly anticlimactic. I understand it was a somewhat easy boss fight, but the shrine was still kind of like a lame reward. Moving on to step 2. The Master Sword... Wait, what? Okay. The Master Sword is located in the Korok Forest, in the Lost Woods, which is one of the most confusing places in all of Zelda. Well, actually, this is my first game, so I don't really think I'm qualified to make that assumption, so I'm gonna say it anyway. This spooky forest is covered in fog, and has seemingly no way of leading you towards the Korok Forest in the heart of the area. Korok Forest is the home of the Koroks, and my main man Hestu. Now, I can see him dance in his intended 60 frames per second. The Great Deku Tree, a true stoic legend, also lives here because he's a tree and can't really move anywhere. This tree is full of sacred knowledge, as well as a pretty lackluster shop that's literally inside of him. In front of him is a triangular base that holds the Blade of Evil's Bane. Wait a minute, sneaky you Nintendo, you thought you could hide a Lego Blacktron logo from me? Think again. I might not be ready to pull the sword in this current state, I bet. Wait, what? I thought I needed 10 hearts. Why didn't it work? 1 Google search later. So I needed 13, but okay, so I need 13 hearts, but just remember this is a 3-step plan as we go into step 3 with Step 1, getting the hearts. Step 2, finding the sword. Step 3, finding 12 more shrines because you're an idiot and didn't realize that you need 13 hearts instead of 10. Rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? Thankfully, there's 1 shrine in Korok Forest for fast travel, as well as 3 trials in which I can undertake. This brings me to a total of 11 hearts, which is not nearly enough, so I guess I need to go hunting for 8 more. While I'm looking for the shrines, let's talk about the trials. They were pretty easy, I only had a few deaths and restarts, though this is also when I learned that cryonosis works on mud. That's dope! I guess it's not useless. No, it's still useless. To find more shrines, I had decided to head to the previously uncharted Gerudo region, where I climbed a tower and pinpointed shrines from there. One of them was shrouded in dust, so I got to the shrine, went inside the shrine, and just fast traveled out of it. I realized that one of the shrines I wanted to get to was easier to get to from the Great Plateau, so I took a trip down memory lane and revisited it. Good memories. I also saw this. Wow, ooh, ah, pretty. I went through all 4 shrines and got my 12th heart. I got the devil to switch my extra stamina vessel for a heart container. With my last heart, I set back out to the Korok Forest, ready to pull the sword. Finally, I stepped up to the pedestal, grabbed the sword, and pulled it. I had a flashback of Zelda speaking to the Deku Tree, and for the first time of many, I was told, I'm finally ready to go save Zelda, though I knew they were wrong. I'd pulled the sword and I just kind of felt aimless. I had completed my first objective I'd had in a long time. I hadn't been this decisive in actually completing a quest since I was told my Sheikah slate was broken. So I didn't really know what to do next, so I spoke to the Deku Tree and he told me, I think it's finally time to be Ganon, and I realized, oh wait, yeah, I forgot I was doing that. But I knew I wasn't ready, so I had to start beginning my preparations. For a long time I've been passively searching for one man, who's been in the back of my head lingering there, who I knew would help me a lot. So I knew I had to begin the next phase, and begin Remember that time I went on a long expedition to Mount Lanayru for seemingly no reason, where I fought that dragon covered in malice? Well, there was a reason, and that's because I was actually searching for this man. This man has been hinted at that I should go see him for a while, and I have struggled to find him. Pura told me to find him, even Beetle told me to go find him. I just haven't been able to find him. I need to find this man, and I finally figured out that he's in Akala. If you did not know this place existed, don't worry, neither did I, as I literally just found it. And it's pretty cool. I randomly found the region when I was shrine hunting, and the tower is so cool. It's essentially the Helm's Deep of the Calamity, and it gives a great reason for all the Guardians still being active. And the malice littered everywhere. Speaking of Guardians, I finally learned how to deal with them, so here's my tutorial. When facing a Guardian, press ZR. Then, when you hear the pure noise and the blue laser beams coming out, press A. With your shield, it should deflect. Also, make sure you're holding a shield. With your shield, it will deflect it back into the Guardian. This will sometimes instantly kill it, but most of them take 2 to 3 hits. The abundance of Guardians helped me practice the timing, though sometimes I messed up. That's why Daruk's protection and Mipha's grace was there to help me. I finally found the man I was looking for, a mad scientist named Rorey, who was in the rightmost corner of Akala and the entire map. Rorey is a kind of scummy science guy, though how can you hate him when he emphasizes everything with a random guitar noise? Like that. Rorey is scummy in the sense that he's charging me outrageous prices for the Shiga tech that I need to defeat Ganon and stop the world from ending. Like, seriously, I get times are tough. Like, really tough. But there aren't gonna be any more times if I don't get this Shiga tech and beat Ganon. I have the resources, it's just that I'm broke, so I went to Beetle and sold him all my stuff. What a chump. Just to buy one ancient short sword, which I was saving till Ganon. It's also 40 damage, which is better than the Master Sword unpowered up. I knew that I definitely need more Shiga tech for the Ganon fight, so I put finding rupees as the top priority on the back of my mind, searching for in the background list. Meaning that we can move on to Phase 6, and as we all remember, Impa gave us 2 objectives when we first met her, those being find all my memories and free the divine beasts. Let's begin with quest 1 by asking, do you remember the 25th night of September? The memories have been a driving force in my exploration throughout the entire game, and I think it's time we channel my inner Ash, catch him, and collect them all. Well, actually, catch them all.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
Link's memory loss. With a little help from a painter in the stable near Robbie, I found a really sad memory in Akala, before making my way to the Gerudo region for one memory, eventually finding another memory in Karakara Bazaar, before heading into town, well, at least to its outskirts, because I wasn't allowed in due to being a man. Sexist, am I right? Unable to find my way in, I set my sights on a nearby tower, which was the last tower I needed before completing the map. So, look, I even got a cool reward. It says, full map of Hyrule extracted. So cool, am I right? I was met by Cass at the top of the tower, and I didn't try and kill him. Who told you that? It's not what it looks like? Order in the court, order. How do you plead in the alleged attempted murder of Cass Dorito? Not guilty? Look at the cute little defendant. Not. Whoa, dude, that's weird. Hey, what? You make me call you guilty? We're the same guy. Not guilty, court adjourned. Cass offered to play me the song of the Ancient Hero, and as great as the backing track is, it's just not worth it. It's a shame they didn't give the guy a voice actor for the songs at least, as there's someone going, ugh, there's someone grunting for him. They have a voice actor, just did they not get one that can sing? Would it have been so hard to get a voice actor? And it would have added so much. With the thought of Cass on my mind, I decided to start poking around his hometown, well, at least where I thought it was, and began hunting for the memory with the Varmadoa in the background. The reason I said, at least where I thought it was because I was searching the North Tabantha region, which is the snowfields, wherein I should have been searching for the South Tabantha region, which is where Rito Village and the desired photo are. Though I did see a scary goat. Oh, sorry, just a Lionel. A Lionel Messi! Finally I found the spot, headed to the last memory point, located in Hyrule Castle, so I made my approach. After game overing, I decided to leave and rethink my approach. I knew that my limited stamina would prevent me from climbing the castle's high cliffs, so I decided to cook up some stamina elixirs and food before running right back at it. Thankfully, my increased stamina allowed me to climb to the memory, located atop a tower in the middle of Hyrule Castle. I viewed the memory before leaving the castle via the front gate. On my way out, I did the unthinkable. I saw a fully legged guardian and killed it. And I didn't only kill that one, I killed a bunch of them, and I did this by reflecting their beams and then getting them on low enough health so I could finish them off with the Master Sword. I later learned the Master Sword part was unnecessary, as you stand there and start reflecting the beams, but it was fun to kill them with the sword. I headed back to Impa only for her to rant about my other accomplishments instead of the memories like I wanted her to. When she finally got around to it, she showed me the last photo location, and I knew exactly where that was. The spot was only fitting. The exact spot, well, nearby it, was the spot where I saw Ganon for the first time. Well, where I tamed him and we became bonded. So I thought it only right that we go searching for it. After a really long amount of time, I found the spot, and I viewed the last memory I ever had. Kind of a perfect coincidence that where I first met my loyal steed Ganondorf is where the army of Ganon took me out the first time, but that's not happening again. I watched the memory, and I heard the voice of Zelda. I had my memories, and she told me it was time to come and get her. Though, no, I'm not doing that yet. This is the second person, like, geez, come on. Do one final quest. All those hours ago where Ganondorf and I had first met. It's kind of bittersweet, and also a really nice coincidence. It's perfect. As Impa pointed out earlier, I still have 2 more Divine Beasts to save, so I need to finish my final quest and go into Quest 2. Varuda and Varudina already saved. Wait, those are the only two that have names that start with R. And I'm Rorey. What a coinky-dink. With those 2 down, I'm halfway, and I only have to save Varmadoa and Varnaboris. So I fast-traveled south to Bantha Tower, and paraglided my way to Rito Village. When I approached, the beast let out a horrible wail, but I continued along. This section is a very confusing part. There are 3 points that I find really weird. Point 1, it seems to be the shortest of all the sections. This entire Varmadoa section of the game in Rito Village is kind of confusing and is a bit of an outlier. It's shorter and easier than any of the other Divine Beasts, as I was on the Divine Beast in 30 minutes of being told to do so, though it seems to follow the same structures as the other sections. You first learn the mechanics through a side quest, that then allows you to go and attack the Divine Beast into dropping its defenses. At some point you also have a memory of the champion, and the Rito Village one, where you have the memory of Revali, is the second point of confusion. The village elder, Kennelly, told me to go find Teba, and to do so I need to talk to his wife. During this interaction, you get the memory of Revali, and it's not by looking at Revali, not like a statue of him, not like a photo, not even something that he had or wore. No, you look at a landing named after him. It's really weird. Every of the other ones have something that's either, like, relating to them, a photo of them, a sculpture, a statue. After learning it's Revali's landing, I have the memory where I get bullied by Revali on that landing. So it's kind of like you get bullied so hard you have PTSD. Oh wow, the old stomping grounds. I remember this place. All these lockers. Oh dude, that was Jackson's old locker.
Oh, hey Jackson.
Shut up, nerd. Give me your lunch money.
No.
Trevor, let's sick him. Dude, are you okay? What the f— Back to the mission, as Teba challenges us to shoot 5 targets in 3 minutes to earn his loyalty. This was way too easy, and I'd been in less than a minute of in-game time. I think the small size of the entire Rito area is what leads to it feeling so quick. You can very quickly travel between each area. With Zora's Domain, you had to actually trek up the mountain to get to the Lionel area, and then you had to sneak around it. Whereas with the Rito Village section, you can just kind of paraglide to Teba in the training facility, as you could very quickly paraglide from main Rito Village to the training area. Once you earn Teba's respect, you get to enter the Divine Beast shield removal section, where you shoot a bunch of Guardian sentries that are holding up a shield with bomb arrows. This section is slightly harder than the other one, as it's really hard to actually make sure you're at the right level to perfectly hit the Guardian, as most of your arrows just go straight down, no matter what, and barely miss it. On the beast itself, the puzzles were fairly difficult, as they forced me to think outside the box, which was quite difficult with Revali's sass. The Blight was more tedious than difficult, as I spent a lot of time thinking I had to shoot the laser things, when I just ended up finishing it by going straight for the boss and ignoring them. Revali gave me Revali's Gale, and I set off to save the Gerudo people. To actually enter the town, I had to meet up with a man who was dressed as a woman, so that he could sell me his clothes. As there was a no-man policy, and I guess this is convincing enough, I used the disguise to enter Gerudo Town and speak to their chief Riju. I told them I wanted to calm the Boris, and to make sure they could trust me, they sent me on a quest to retrieve the Thunder Helm, an ancient artifact, from the Yiga clan hideout. The hideout was full of yoga members. Stupid autocorrect. The hideout was full of Yiga members, and I had to sneakily sneak past them, but due to their love of bananas, I could pick them off one by one, and then I fought. After a short fight, he fell into a hole, and I retrieved the helm. When I returned it to Riju, she put it on, and I had a flashback about Urbosa. This flashback is more understandable, as this is actually something Urbosa had and would have worn, but is kind of on a similar level to the Rivali's landing incident. Together, me and Riju rode to the beast and disarmed it by shooting its toes. I got into Naboris and went through the same song and dance. At least this time, I didn't have to deal with Rivali's attitude. Thunderblight was probably the best of all the blights, for the only reason that it's slightly harder and different. Look at these three, and then look at that. One of these things is not like the other. And that's the best one. It's unique, and that's why I like it. Though I do need to say how bad the electric pole section was. I found it really hard to actually line up the camera in a suitable way so that I could actually see if the electric poles were next to him for him to electrocute himself. And it was just a struggle overall, and I'd say that's probably the worst part of the Blight. Despite this, I've beat the Blight, got Urbosa's Fury, and finally. Despite this, I beat the Blight and got Urbosa's Fury, an ability I will never use in a battle. After this, I returned to Impa, who began yapping about the memories, and then finally about the Divine Beasts, before saying, "You need to find Zelda." Then started yapping about the Divine Beasts, before saying, "You need to find Zelda," for a second time. So that's total 4 times. She also yapped about how she's a failure, before telling me to attack Ganon head on. Checking my main quests tab and seeing only destroy Ganon gives you a feeling of satisfaction and awe, amazement, and I don't know any other words to describe it. You've got through everything else asked of you, but now you have one more thing. That is take down Ganon and destroy him. Just don't scroll to the other pages, because they're less than complete, so don't look at them. Despite the objective, I knew I was not at all prepared for Ganon. I may have the Master Sword, and I may have all the champion abilities by my side, but my 1 extra stamina vessel and 14 hearts aren't gonna get me through the fight. I need to spend some time locking in, which brings us to Phase 7. This phase is basically just me going from shrine to shrine, powering up and exploring the world. I've done all this stuff before, and I've learned from my mistakes and not just going to put a large time lapse here. So I thought now is the perfect time is to actually talk about my opinions on the memories and on the game so far. So I think we're going to start with the latter. What the hell? And talk about what I think of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Starting off, this game is really good, and quite unique. It's the only open world game that I've actually been able to complete, and does a great job at keeping me engaged. For my compliments, this game does a great job at conveying the story, with its memories. The interesting characters bring a life to what would have been a desolate open world. I loved the absolute freedom this game gave me, though that can probably just be chalked up to the fact that it's open world. Sometimes I will admit it wasn't great, as I got really distracted on side tracks and tangents that probably didn't amass to anything interesting. The distractions do just come with the style of the game though. In fact, the open world does lead to a bit of repetitiveness. For example, at the start of each activity, like a Divine Beast, you have to get the same monologue about finding 5 terminals, 1 main terminal, and then fight the Blight. They have personality with the characters actually talking to you, but in all the other activities, it's just kind of repetitive. Plus, it's not as bad as Demon King, Secret Stone, which is much better than just 5 terminals, but with a tad of personality. For me, the bare minimum of a casual gamer, this game starts off really hard, though after a while it does get really easy, and overall stops being challenging after a few hours. On the other hand, the game does reward getting good and practicing, as when I spent an hour actually perfecting my Guardian rebounds, the game actually felt much easier, and I got a lot of loot from it. Unfortunately, that didn't transfer to rupees, so it wasn't really rewarding in the sense that I'm less broke now. Though it's mainly just in that one section that I'm good at, as I was able to breeze through most Guardian interactions with the perfect rebound, as I was only good at that. It's the only thing I've got good timing for, as I still can't do the perfect dodge and activate the flurry rush for the life of me. The practice Guardians and the test shrines still haunts me. Okay, so you say you've been having trouble sleeping, is that right? Yes. Have you experienced any loss recently? Are you seeing any faces of the the major test of strength, the Guardian, specifically the one with the crown. Oh, I don't feel safe anymore. Okay, I don't feel safe anymore. I see him everywhere. It's only him. I don't even fear the more powerful ones, the regular Guardians, just that one. Have you tried? I've tried everything, Doc. I even bought the champion Daruk amiibo, but no matter how many times I slam my fists together, I never get his protection. Have you tried shooting the Guardian in the face? In the eyeball specifically. I heard that helps. Oh, no, I haven't tried that. Thanks, Doc. No problem. Okay. That'll be $10,000. If you're contemplating getting this game, then I highly recommend it, as you're guaranteed hours of fun and stress. I'm not even going to lie about that part. Now, time to stop edging you, and finally get to the lore. So, if you don't want any spoilers, skip to the next section. I'll either have timestamps or not. I'll try my best. I don't know how to do them. So, time for Rorey's mega lore recap. I'm going to go in the memory order, so sorry if it doesn't make sense. We see a ceremony where Zelda is blessing Link, and see how the other champions feel about it. We learn about Rivali's feelings about Link when he bullied him on PTSD Landing. Back to Zelda and Link's time together, as Zelda nerds out about the divine beasts before feeling insufficient in her inability to fulfill the prophecy. I'd say this memory is probably one of the best demonstrations of Zelda's character. While Link and Daruk are taking a joyride on Rudina, the two chat, before Daruk gets an uneasy feeling when Death Mountain hurls rocks at them and starts acting up. While Zelda is investigating a shrine, she gets angry at Link for following her, and following the king's orders instead of listening to her. Urbosa tells Link how Zelda sees her failures in him, before Urbosa does a tad bit of trolling. Zelda finally starts looking at Link more sympathetically, when he saves her from a group of Yiga. It's just interesting to see that the Yiga have been up to the same shenanigans for more than 100 years. The two fear that the calamity is drawing near, as the waves and type of enemies are getting more severe. Also, Link killed a Lionel here, it's just... they didn't really need to flex, like, geez, Link. It's kinda crazy. Zelda talks about a flower before prompting Link to eat a frog. She's so silly, she doesn't know she needs to cook them first. Eating the frogs alone probably wouldn't do anything. I haven't tested it though. I don't plan to either. Mipha hints towards her true feelings for Link while she heals him, but remember, he's an emotionless brick. Zelda starts to doubt herself as she wonders what her life would be like if she didn't have to save Hyrule. While Zelda watches over the Guardian's progress, King Roam tells her she must stop having hobbies and focus on unlocking her power. It's just crazy her dad was like, you can't be a world-class engineer, you need to spend all your time unlocking your magical, mystical god powers. And she's kinda like, nah, I don't want to do that, it's not working, I don't want to do that. I understand both sides, as King Realm doesn't want to freaking die, but then again, he's going about it in the worst way possible. And saying you can't have hobbies because you need to focus on harnessing God's power, that's kind of a crazy statement. It's wild, it's Breath of the Wild? What? The sad memory I was talking about before. As Zelda is praying, she denounces the gods and talks about how Roam is really mean. This has one of the saddest tones in all the memories, I'd say. It's just really hard to watch. Not like in a bad way, in like a just emotional way. Zelda and Link talk about their plan to head to Mount Lanayru and the Spring of Wisdom. This is designed as a hint for the players to be like, go to Mount Lanayru, you'll find a spring, and that's where the dragon is. I found this before finding the memory, and it's kind of like, yeah, I already did that. When Zelda comes down from Mount Lanayru, she is met by the Guardians, who are surprised and encourage her, despite being unable to unlock her powers. If Mipha was just a little bit better with words here, we wouldn't have a calamity. It's all her fault. She doesn't deserve Link. The memory finishes with Ganon rising from the castle. This is the first memory I got, and it really set a tone and intrigued me to actually keep playing the game and find all the memories. It also perfectly introduces you to all the characters, how they think of people, what their outlooks are, and like who they are as characters, and I think that's one of the best parts of it. While running from guardians and monsters, Zelda breaks down after the loss of everyone she knows and loves. While Link and Zelda are running, they're spotted by a guardian. In an attempt to save Link, Zelda finally awakens her powers, but Link falls on the brink of death. The voice in the sword talks to Zelda, and she then instructs some Sheikah soldiers to take Link to the Shrine of Resurrection. This is the longest memory and the last one I unlock. It's a great storytelling device, as it perfectly places the audience, and it kind of fills them with determination to go and actually beat Ganon. And it's always followed by the words of Zelda saying, "Go and find me, go and save Hyrule." It does a great job at encouraging people. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people just did that and then immediately went to Ganon. The final cutscene on this list is Zelda placing the Master Sword into its holding place under the care of the Deku Tree. That is the whole story of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. But I wouldn't really call it a story. These memories aren't really a story, as I just said. They're a series of mostly isolated different events from 100 years ago, and just makes you feel for the characters. It makes you want to go save the divine beasts, and it really helps bring context and emotion to everything you do. It's not you're just, oh, I'm playing a game and I'm gonna go save the princess. It's no, you're saving Zelda. You're not just saving random rock guy, you're saving Daruk. You're not just saving Fish Lady, you're saving Mifa. Without watching the memories, we know Rivali's a big jerk, but how much of a jerk, we wonder. So when we watch all the memories, we see that Rivali is a really big jerk. It just gives you context, like, it shows you who the characters are. It helps you get to know the characters, and it makes you really feel. I've said feel a lot, because that's what it does. That's what these do. They don't tell you a story. You already know the ending. You know the ending. Everyone's going to die, and Ganon takes over Hyrule. You don't even get one memory to know that. From the start of the game, these memories have no purpose, but they add so much when unlocking them. This is probably the best selling point for the game. If you're willing to just sit down, find the memories, play the game for more than, like, a day, I feel like anyone needs to just play for themselves. Wait, my Sheikah senses are detecting something. It's an in-person section from the past. This is perfectly timed for Phase 8. Hello, and welcome to The End. I've spent a long time on this game. Longer than I've spent on any other game, I would say. Parade that Luigi's Mansion, I actually beat that one in a fairly decent amount of time, but this one I've spent so much time on, it's unbelievable. There has not been a single week where I have not worked on this video. Whether that means writing the script, or playing the game, or filming sections like this. Well, this is the first time I'm filming a section like this, because this is when I'm ending it all. I am prepared to beat the game now. I don't have 30 hearts, I don't even have 20, which was my initial goal, but I am done. I don't want to spend time shrine hunting. This is gonna just be way too long if I do any of that. So, what I'm going to end up doing is just beating it now. I've got through all my main objectives. I've beaten the divine beasts, and I've freed them. I've got all the memories, which was my main objective from the start. And then, now I have to do the one thing, and that's save Hyrule, save my Switch 2. I'm not wasting $770, and I need to play Mario Kart World. I think I just need to get into it. This is the end. Well, at least the beginning of the end. Yep, okay. Approaching the castle, I have 16 hearts, 2 additional stamina wheels, and a full inventory, of which I finished only on my way to the castle. I brewed a variety of elixirs and cooked a handful of dishes, all with the intent of keeping me alive. This castle was the only thing standing between me, Ganon, and my Switch 2. I've been here before, so I know to expect a lot of guardians. I need to reflect the beams from the sentries and the rusted ones, while staying out of sight of the flying ones. Being the dramatic person I am, I thought that it was only best to enter through the front gate, which I opened and snuck in without being spotted by the flying ones, on the first try. Running out of sight from the ever-watching eyes of the guardians, I entered the castle, and my map showed the expansive labyrinth, but alas, I was trapped by 2 gates that shut suddenly, locking me in. I saw a puddle of water, and I knew what I must do. Who would have guessed? Cryonosis would come in handy. Not me for sure. Slightly lost, I studied the map to try and find a way, but was met with malice everywhere I turned and on any wall I tried to climb. With my health low and 2 guardians firing down on me, I ran into a nearby room for shelter. Escaping the room didn't help either, as the guardians were still firing, and the Lionel kept shooting me with shock arrows, stopping me from using my shield to deflect the guardian beams. Finally running away, and the chamber for our battle was in my sights. The surrounding guardians couldn't stop me, as I charged past and safely into the cutscene trigger. This was gonna be one hard-fought boss fight, followed by a walk in the park that is Darkbeast Ganon, and we all know that by this point.
I'm sorry, but my power isn't strong enough.
With half of Ganon's health gone, I prepared for battle. Well, actually, I died first, and then prepared for battle on my second go-through. He unleashed a lot of unique attacks, and then started shooting me with Guardian Beams. I'd trained for this, and bounced them back with ease, though when I missed, I always had Daruk to help me through. I got him to the second phase, and he became... though not to his own laser beams, which I constantly bounced back, destroying his force field, allowing me to go to town. The health bar hit 0, and I moved on to the Dark Beast Ganon, a well-renowned easy boss fight. So, while we watch that, I need to talk about that Ganon fight. What was that boss fight? I died once, and I would blame that on the sudden cut to gameplay, and my low health due to the earlier castle siege, and not because of lack of skill or anything. It was like in the first few seconds. Don't get me wrong, that boss is really cinematic, and like a dessert at the end of a 7-course meal. Well, in the sense it's really hard to get through the last few courses, and then getting to that final sweet dessert is like really nice and satisfying. But that was still really easy. I cut through him like butter, or like ice cream if you're talking about a Lost analogy. I was expecting this to be a really hard boss fight, hard fought to the end. Eventually, I was expecting to have to leave and come back. I can hear what you're saying. Rorey, you are over-leveled. And I understand what you're saying, but I also know that you're wrong. That I wasn't. I had 16 out of the 30 hearts. Okay, I was above halfway. I had 2 extra stamina vessels. That's, like, nothing. I was significantly underprepared. The shields, I had none until I was on my way to the castle. But I just mainly used the Master Sword, which you could say is a buff. And also I had the Divine Beasts, which got me down to halfway. But then again, it's like, that doesn't make sense though. Because I did what the game told me to do, and I did what the average player would. I was underprepared. I hadn't beaten, nevertheless found all 120 shrines, but I was still able to cut him like butter. Maybe my Guardian practice helped me get through this, but I don't think that was it. Like, I was expecting a hard boss fight, and yet I got to the second phase with ease. Even past me was surprised. What? Is it... Hello? There's gotta be another phase, right? I know you took my Switch too, and I know I went back, but there's gotta be something else. I was shocked, and I still am. Negatives aside, and we look at what this boss fight is for what it is. The incredibly well-presented end to a fun, challenging, engaging, and overall well-crafted adventure game, and the best and only Zelda game I've ever played. The Dark Beast Ganon boss fight playing behind me is easier than the earlier fight, but though I do have to admit, playing this is just special. Riding around on Ganondorf and shooting the light spots with the endless bow. I don't think I would have enjoyed this game or rated it as highly if I spent hours and dying over and over again compared to doing it one shot and being done. The way these two fights make you feel is just unmatched. It's like a build-up of everything you've gone through, all the divine beasts, all the memories. It's just there, helping you just like fight through it. All the dialogue, all the items breaking, all the deaths have led to this end, and it's just good to get it over with. They finished the game. Be able to put it down and say, I did that. So, and it's perfect timing as well, because I'm about to deal the final blow. So, thank you for joining me. And if you made it this far, please consider subscribing and leaving a like, as it shows that you like this kind of content, and it helps me make more of it. So, thanks. And have a powerful day. Bye-bye. Ganon, it's you. Wait a second. You're a Tears of the Kingdom Ganondorf PNG, not a Breath of the Wild Ganon PNG. Ganon and Ganondorf are two different things. You're not supposed to be here. Oh, it worked. Breath of the Wild released on the Wii U. Why are you still here? 2 console generations later. Final blow. You're not even real. You're just a figment of my imagination that I came up with to give a reason to make this video and buy a Switch 2 in the first place. Do
you really remember me?
It's British. I just have to think about it. The real Switch 2 was the friends we made along the way. Nah, the real Switch 2 was the nearly $800 piece of hardware that just does the exact same thing as its predecessor. But hey, at least I can play in 4K. I'm broke, was it really worth it?